the mosaic model, fluid mosaic model, which was most suitable and accepted model of the cell membrane. It was proposed by Singer and Nicholson. And the membrane actually does not have fixed or rigid form. So the proteins and lipids are not uniformly arranged. I'll show you the structure on the screen. Here you can see the structure of the fluid mosaic model of the plasma membrane given by Singer and Nicholson. So in this, the proteins and lipids are not uniformly arranged. Instead, both are arranged in a mosaic pattern. Mosaic means uneven pattern. Mosaic means uneven pattern. So this mosaic nature gives asymmetry to the membrane. Then further, the contents of the membrane are not static and solid. The contents of the membrane are not static, S-T-A-T-I-C, and solid. These are quasi-fluid and are in dynamic state. These are quasi-fluid and dynamic in state. So the fluidity, asymmetry and mosaic nature are the three most characteristic features of this model, which can explain almost all properties and functions of the membrane. Now, the fluid mosaic model suggests that there is a phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipids have their hydrophilic ends, means hydrophilic heads facing outwardly. You can see on the screen the hydrophilic heads, they are facing outwardly, while hydrophobic tails, they are facing each other. And this arrangement of lipids allow only lipid soluble substances to pass through the membrane. I repeat, this type of arrangement where the phospholipids have their hydrophilic ends, means heads facing outwardly, while hydrophobic tails facing each other, allows only lipid soluble substances to pass through the membrane. And the proteins in this model do not form a continuous layer. Instead, proteins may be deeply embedded in the lipid layers. The deeply embedded proteins are termed as integral or intrinsic protein, or they may be attached to the lipid layers peripherally. So they are termed as extrinsic or peripheral proteins. This condition can be described as protein icebergs in a sea of lipids. The intrinsic proteins are about 70% of the total membrane protein, and mainly they are glycoproteins, and the extrinsic protein are about 30%, and they are spectrin, actin, collagen and glyceraldehyde 3P dehydrogenase. It is also termed as G3PD. Besides, many membrane proteins are enzymatic in nature. Intrinsic proteins can move inside the lipid layers, and therefore they act as carriers for active transport. Some large globular integral proteins which project beyond the lipid layer have channels which allow the movement of water soluble substances. Some peripheral proteins also act as receptors for hormones, antigens and neurotransmitters. Some lipids or integral proteins are also attached to oligosaccharide molecule as glycolipids and glycoproteins, which help in interaction among different cells. Cells recognize each other by the help of these glycolipids and glycoproteins. The capacity of cells to recognize each other plays an important role in blood grouping, immune response, cancer, and rejection of the transplanted organs and the tissues. The mosaic model of the membrane is supported by the results of freeze etching techniques, X-ray diffraction, differential thermal analysis, and electron spin techniques. Its fluidity and dynamic nature has also been proved by several experiments on cell fusion and capping of surface antigen. The functions of the cell membrane are forming cell boundary, that is compartmentalization and maintaining individuality, as well as protects the cell protoplasm, help in transport and selective permeability. It also helps in recognition of substances. I told you just now, like mainly glycoproteins and glycolipids. They are attached to the outer surface of the cell membrane, and these substances, receptors for hormones, neurotransmitters and antigens, and thus recognize them. Then cell membrane also forms cellular junctions and attachments. These may be various types such as tight junctions, gap junctions, plasmodesmata, desmosomes, etc. Cell membrane help in endocytosis. The intake in solid form is called phagocytosis, while intake in liquid form is called pinocytosis. So the intake of the materials by the cell is called endocytosis. Then help in forming absorptive surface. These can be villi, which increase the surface area or maximum reabsorption. In plants, outer membrane of root cells, epiblema, are also modified to form root hairs for the absorption of water in the soil. Then they can form mesosomes in bacteria. In prokaryotes, the enfoldings of the cell membrane are called mesosomes, and these are analogous to the inner mitochondrial membrane of eukaryotic cells, and they help in respiration and oxidative phosphorylation. It also helps in conducting impulses in nerve cells, as well as help in locomotion of some cells, like cell membranes of some cells, example WBC, and some organism, example amoeba, help in locomotion by forming pseudopodia. Then also help in photosynthesis as thylakoidal membrane, as well as it forms sheath over cilia and flagella. This way I complete the cell membrane and move on to the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, it is a jelly-like base or ground material of the cell which contains all cellular organelles. Chemically, the cytoplasmic jelly is a true solution containing 70 to 85% of water. It also includes sugars, minerals, vitamins, nucleotide, amino acids, tRNA, and many other proteins. Fat is present in emulsified form. Many of the biological reactions such as glycolysis, protein synthesis, etc. take place in the cytoplasm of the cell. In some cells, such as protozoan organisms, the cytoplasmic matrix is differentiated into two portions, the outer denser and non-granular called as ectoplasm, and the inner less denser and granular called as endoplasm. Then I move on to the next organelle, that is termed as endoplasmic reticulum, which is also called as ER. This ER or endoplasmic reticulum is found in all living organisms except prokaryotes and mature mammalian RBC. The term endoplasmic reticulum was coined by Porter, and ER is a network of membranes and forms endomembrane network with Golgi and nuclear membrane. So here on the screen you can see the ER or the endoplasmic reticulum. Then we move on to the morphology of the ER. The size of the ER varies in various cells. Morphologically, it consists of three forms: cisternae, vesicles, and tubules. Cisternae are broad, flat, elongated, and parallel sac-like structures. They are 4 to 5 nm thick, and vesicles are spherical in shape. They are 25 to 500 μm in diameter. Then tubules are branched tube-like spaces about 5 to 10 nm. Depending upon the presence or absence of the ribosomes, ER can be divided into two parts, SER and RER. SER means smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It is devoid of ribosomes. And therefore the surface is smooth. It is associated with glycogen particles called glycosomes. So SER is found in glycogen excess regions. SER is mainly involved in lipid and steroid synthesis. Therefore, it is chiefly found in glandular cells. Rough endoplasmic reticulum represented by RER. It is characterized by the presence of the ribosomes on the surface, therefore chiefly found in those cells which is actively engaged in protein synthesis. RER is particularly well developed in the basophilic region of the cytoplasm, which is termed as ergastoplasm. The membrane of the ER is almost similar to the plasma membrane, and it consists of lipid bilayer with peripheral and integral proteins. ER is usually continuous with plasma membrane, nuclear membrane, and Golgi to form extensive endomembrane network. Then there are some few differences between SER and RER. SER does not bear ribosomes, whereas RER bear ribosomes. SER mainly consists of tubules and vesicles, whereas RER consists of cisternae and tubules. Ribofourin proteins for the attachment of ribosomes are absent in SER, whereas ribofourin proteins are present in RER. SER mainly serves to synthesize glycogen, lipids, and steroids, whereas RER serves to synthesize proteins and enzymes. SER surface do not have pores, whereas RER surface bear minute pores for the diffusion of proteins into the ER channels. SER usually peripheral and not continuous with nuclear membrane, and they also help in detoxification, whereas RER usually central in position and often continuous with nuclear membrane. It has no role in detoxification. That's all about the SER and the RER. Thank you.